We're officially halfway through the SFL season. Tonight, the Aztecs and their high-flying offense head home to historic Mexico City to face off with the Portland Fleet, fresh off their first win in franchise history. And good evening, everyone. Bienvenidos, and welcome to Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. Alongside producer extraordinaire Cameron Irvine, our statisticians Stephen Hacker and Jack Brown, and my partner Mike Improta. I'm Tim Hackett. Happy to have you with us as we kick off this SFL Sunday night doubleheader. Buenas noches, Mikey. Mexico City trying to stay on the top half of the table tonight, while Portland hopes to crash the party with its second straight win.
Buenos noches a todos. Yeah, buddy, we're south of the border on Sunday night with more SFL action. And when you're here in Mexico, everyone wants the tacos, the tortillas, and the tequila. It's the Portland Fleet who've sailed down the Pacific coast to take on Mexico City. And that's exactly what Portland wants after they picked up their first win in franchise history in an epic fourth quarter comeback to beat Houston 20-17 at the Shipyard. While up in Vancouver, the Conquistadors kept pace with the top half of the league. They fought off the Legion, defeating them 24-17 on the road to improve their record of 4-2. But for the home team tonight, can the Mexico City dynamic duo of Wilson and Dags continue to dominate? The Bronze Bomber has the air attack, ranked second in the league. And on the other side, Matt South and his rookie wideouts, can they ambush the Aztec Empire? It's the Flotillas offense who need to fire more shots. Can the battleship sail away and become the party boat with win number 2? Can Mexico City sink the sailors for the Grand Fiesta? Hey, Tim Hackett, don't drink the water. Vamonos, SFL Nation, I'm ready to go. Let the show begin.
Vamonos, Senor Dinamita. Mexico City back at home against Portland. And we are underway, live south of the border. Cole Varner to kick it away. Art Vandelay on the return for the Fleets. And he gets out to the 17. Portland coming out in their white tops, orange bottoms. Mexico City, red tops, white bottoms. Happy to have you here with us this evening. First game of our SFL Sunday night doubleheader. 1-5 Portland on the road against 4-2 Mexico City. Tim Hackett and Mike Improta here with you live. The next game getting started in just a couple of minutes over on the SFL YouTube stream. Happy to have you. So Portland, fresh off of its first win in franchise history. They lose their first 5 games, some close, some not so much, but a big second half comeback late last week to get them the win over the Houston Hyenas. First pass of the game from Matt South is tipped away, incomplete. That was risky, knocked away and sailing harmlessly to the turf as it was tipped away by Greg Gaines.
Yeah, nice job by Greg Capital Gaines on the first play of the game. He knows that the Portland Fleet, for them to win tonight, are going to have to come out and air it out. Good play for Gaines to knock that away.
Neither of these two teams have been horribly successful at running the ball so far this year, as we'll talk about. Portland is second last in the league in rush yards per game, and Mexico City is allowed the 5th fewest rush yards per league. So we're expecting to see a lot out of Matt South. They will go on the ground here to John Truzman, their second-year running back, and he goes up left guard and picks up 5.
Yeah, John Truzman, he's going to be a key player tonight. He's going to carry the ball, and he needs to pick up his yards per carry. Right now, he's not doing what they want him to do, but he's progressing. He's improving. Week 6, he had 17 carries for 36 yards. His best game was 14 for 62 yards in Week 4 versus Carolina, but he's got to pick it up today, that 2.8 per carry. He needs to get that up a little bit higher.
Third and medium, Matt South flings it over to the near side, and it's caught by their number 1 wide receiver, Connor Weston, but he's 2 yards short of the sticks. It brings up an early 4th down.
Yeah, great job by Mexico City here at home. This is what the home fans want to see, and 2 yards short, it'll force Portland to punt.
Mexico City's defense has been up and down, like you and I saw a couple of weeks ago against London, Mike and Prota. Another offense that has been struggling at times this year. London picking up its first win of the season earlier today. Mexico City does not defend the pass very well, but they were able to force Connor Weston out early on that occasion. So Jason Bartley on the return. He's running the wrong way, and they're going to give him forward progress to the 32. A generous spot. It's actually Jeffrey Daggs on the return. My apologies there, not Bartley. And Daggs with the wrong direction. His compass is off so far.
Yeah, Daggs, he looked up. He saw a whole fleet of valiant vessels sailing at him with guns blazing, and he ran the wrong way. I think he lost about 5 or 6 yards on that return.
Jason Bartley has actually been one of the better punt returners in the league, but that was Jeffrey Daggs, the veteran free safety on that return. So first pass of the game for the Hall of Famer Matt Wilson over to the near side, and it's caught by Mike Daggs. Big surprise. First play of the game, Wilson to Daggs for a gain of 9.
And that's the reason why Mexico City's 4-2. That's the combination that can't be stopped. Wilson to Daggs. It's happened so often. Last week, can you believe it, Tim? Matt Wilson, 27 for 29, only 2 incomplete passes in his win over Vancouver.
Absolutely unbelievable stat line, a 93% completion percentage, one of the best games of the season for Matt Wilson, who has had plenty of those in his career. Second down, they will flip it out to the tailback, Phoenix Jones. He is stopped up at the line to gain. Great tackle, one-on-one on the outside, and Jones is stopped short of the sticks.
Yeah, great play by the Portland defense. That's how this team is going to win, is through their defense. Portland does a great job. They don't do well against the run. They're last in the league, giving up 135 yards on the ground in pound. But through the air, they rank 9th, very respectable, only giving up 267. And they stop Jones just short of the first down.
They run it here, they will. Laura Horrell, the fullback, up left guard, first down for Mexico City. Check it is Phoenix Jones. My apologies. Either way, first down.
Yeah, Phoenix primetime Jones. It was 3rd and inches. He got about 6 yards on that carry, and the Mexico City offense moves the chains.
I'm with you, Mike. Portland defends the pass very well. Mexico City on offense passes about as well as anybody else. Mexico City offense, they struggle running the ball, but Portland struggles to defend the ball. So something's got to give. It's strength against strength, weakness against weakness. 1st and 10 for Matt Wilson. Quick check down to Mike Daggs. Breaks out of the first tackle. Can't get out of the second wave of tacklers. Brought down there by strong safety Shawn Allen for a gain of 7.
Mike Daggs collects another pass. That's number 2 in 4 plays. That's the go-to guy. If Portland can stop him, I really believe they have a chance on the road to win tonight.
Mike Daggs still top of the league in total receiving yards and tied for the league lead in receiving touchdowns as a tight end. Now give him 43 catches for over 775 games here in week 7. Wilson to the far side has a man wide open. Richard Montague out across the 40-yard line and a first down for the Aztecs.
Yeah, I think that was actually the backup tight end, TJ Punk, out of San Diego, California, and he picks up the first down with his first catch of the game. Nice route by Punk, holds it in, turns it upfield, and he gives Mexico City a new set of downs.
0 for 2 early. That is indeed TJ Punk, their number 2 tight end, 88, not 86, brought down by Frank Champion, the 7th-year veteran outside linebacker who is having a killer season for Portland, of course, with his first year out on the West Coast. 7th season overall here in the SFL. Fresh set of downs for Matt Wilson. Trips to the right, one to the top of the screen. Wilson waits, launches down the right seam, tipped away and incomplete. That could have been picked. Chris Stock with one-on-one coverage against Jason Bartley.
Yeah, the rookie out of St. John, Washington, he's had a fine start to his young career. He leads the team with 4 interceptions, and he almost picked up number 5.
Pass defense for Portland, like we've said, has been very good. Stock with 4 picks, Dakota Johansson with 3, and Derek Majors with 2. So many minor league stars here in this Portland defense. A lot of rookies to balance out the veteran trio of linebackers. They're going to get Portland to jump off sides here. Phoenix Jones gets the carry off left tackle. He stopped for a gain of 1. Looked like a neutral zone infraction there to me.
Yeah, Portland, their defense, they're feeling good here. They want to get a big stop. They know they're up against a tough team here on the road, and they just jump a little too quick before the snap.
You get Bernard Patterson, the 2nd overall pick in this SFL draft for neutral zone infraction. All 4 defensive linemen for Portland are rookies. All 5 their top defensive backs are rookies. And as we mentioned, their 3 linebackers are all veterans. Mel Davis in his 2nd year, Amon Takes in his 5th, and Frank Champion in his 7th. So now 2nd down and 5 after the offside against Bernard Patterson from the 33-yard line for Matt Wilson. Bunch it up, give to Phoenix Jones. He'll run around left tackle and gets a gain of 4. Stopped there by Davis.
Yeah, great job by Davis. Stopped Phoenix Jones just short of the first down. This will be a big 3rd and 1 play. Portland, they're at the Portland 30, so they're in field goal range if they want to bring out Cole Varner, but certainly Portland wants to stop him here and hold him to 3.
As you saw, Bernard Patterson, who was just guilty of the offside on the previous play, comes up limping after that play. He's going to head to the sideline for further evaluation. That could be a big loss for the Fleet. 3rd and 1 for Matt Wilson. Gets the snap, fires to the near side, caught. First down and more for Phoenix Jones out of the backfield. Phoenix has been a busy man here on this drive, and he moves the chains.
Well, that's what happens right there. Precision passing, Matt Wilson. He's an intelligent QB. That's why he's a Hall of Famer. He's in his 10th season, the Bronze Bomber. He knows where to go, and he hits Phoenix Jones for the first down on a nice little quick out route.
Jones had the 10th most receptions by all tailbacks coming into today. He's used fairly often. John Truzman on the other side also used relatively often as a pass catcher. First down for Wilson from the 25 with Jones next to him over the middle. That's caught for a gain of 8. Nice link up again over the middle from Wilson to Mike Daggs. No surprise.
Yeah, Mike Daggs, he's a big target down the middle of the field. Wilson had his eye on him as soon as the ball was snapped, and they pick up another 8 yards. And right now, Mexico City is starting to just move down the field nice and easy.
Ironically, Mike, this is not how Mexico City generally uses Mike Daggs. He's usually the big play guy. He's been the possession receiver so far here. Out to the far side, that's caught again by TJ Punk. Same play that worked earlier in this possession. Stopped by Johansson, first down and goal.
Yeah, TJ Punk, the rookie, he's doing very well. He's up to 16 catches on the season. And Tim, he's got a pregame ritual. He has a protein shake. He goes for a mile run, and then he does 1 hour route drills before every single game. And right now, those pregame rituals, they're paying off big time.
You got to love the dedication. It had been a slow couple of weeks for Punk. Good start for him here. Here's Laura Horo with her first carry of the game. She goes up and picks up 2. Stopped by Leaf Russell, the backup defensive tackle. And that loss of Bernard Patterson, potentially, at least for now, does loom large for Portland, Mike, because unlike just about every other team in the SFL that tends to run 3 defensive linemen a lot of the time, Portland almost always runs 4. Sometimes they run 4 linebackers as well. They like to pack it in up front. Here's Phoenix Jones on second down, and again, they get him in the backfield, right on the line of scrimmage, a tackle by Frank Champion.
Yeah, Frank Champion, the big guy in his 7th season out of Rockland County, New York, makes a big play. Tim, do you know that in real life, Frank Champion, he's a former wrestler. He was part of a tag team called the Heavy Hitters, and he put a heavy hit on Phoenix Jones right there.
Wrestling to now playing here in the SFL seems like a logical leap, if you will, and Frank Champion has been an absolute beast so far here in his 7th season. Third down and goal from the 6. Wilson has a man over the middle. It's dropped, incomplete. Great on-ball defense again by Portland, by Shawn Allen, the rookie strong safety. That brings up 4th down.
Big play by Shawn Allen. I thought that was definitely a 6-point touchdown passing play, but Allen hits him, and the ball falls incomplete, forcing Mexico City to bring out Cole Varner for the field goal.
We're not going to get a replay, Mike, but I think Wilson had somebody open over the middle of the field. I think it was Bartley. Instead, he tried to get it, I think it was to Daggs on the seam, but he had somebody open on a curl route and just didn't see him. So Cole Varner on for a chip shot field goal, and he knocks it through. One of the best kickers in SFL history, has his 14th make of the season, and Mexico City strikes first.
Yeah, great job by Portland to hold them to 3, but really, really nice drive by Mexico City to get on the board first. Really thought they should have come away with that touchdown, but Cole Varner trying to get away from those 2 misses from last week, puts it through from 23.
Remember, Matt Wilson had only 2 incomplete passes all game last week, and that was his 2nd incomplete pass of this game already on that misfire in the end zone. Decent return here for Art Vandelay, the rookie kick returner for the Portland Fleet. Let's introduce you to the rest of the Portland offense. Head coach Jacob Bouvette and offensive coordinator Mel Davis. The quarterback Matt South, now in his 3rd season in the SFL, 3rd different team. And John Truzman, his 2nd year. The wide receivers Connor Weston, Art Vandelay, and Gene Valentine. The tight end Nelson Lozano Jr. The fullback is Jacob Farmer, and the offensive line is anchored by left tackle Scooter Smith, wearing number 76 in the white. Matt South to throw, 2nd possession for the Fleet, out to John Truzman. We mentioned he's used fairly often coming out of the backfield, and he picks up 4, wrenched down from behind by Matthew Lee.
Yeah, good job by Truzman. Good strength. You saw him break the first tackle. Good job to pick up 4. They're on their way. They're up to the Portland 27. Let's see if they go back to Truzman again.
In the draft, Mike, I joked and called Portland the Ottawa Cavalry of the West because Nelson Lozano and Jacob Bouvette have acquired a half dozen former members of the Ottawa Cavalry, the runners-up from the SFL minor league in its inaugural season. Offense and defense, they're all over the place, and they've all had a good impact here in their rookie season. Here's John Truzman, and he's blown up for a loss by KT Horrell. The 2nd-round pick middle linebacker stops Truzman for a loss of 2.
KT Horrell, the linebacker out of Winston-Salem. She's got 46 total tackles, 3 tackles for losses. Give her 4 tackles for losses on the air after that big hit on Truzman.
Fresh off of a career game last week in in Mexico City's win, 11 tackles, a career high. Now South under pressure, and he goes down for a loss. Mexico City's front has been slow getting pressure over the last couple of weeks, but Scott Stover says, enough of that, down goes South.
The Iron Man, Scott Stover, with his third sack of the year. It's a big play, and it puts Portland in a punting situation.
Last week, Mexico City, just to prove my point, had 0 sacks against Vancouver's Tom Pepper, which has a decent offensive line, but they held Robert Redford, their star running back, to less than 50 yards rushing. So they've had a tough time getting pressure on opposing quarterbacks, but opposing running backs have had little success against this Mexico City front all season long. Jeffrey Daggs again on the return. That is quite a bit better, and he gets out across the 45-yard line. Mexico City will set up shop at the 48.
Well, that's where the Mexico City defense stands, Tim. They're on both ends of the pendulum. On the pass, they give up about 330 through the air, which is second most in the league. But on the ground, they do very well. They only gave up an average of 77 yards. So to try and run against this Mexico City defense, that's a tough task.
Second possession of the game for Matt Wilson after they went 15 plays, 61 yards for the field goal from Cole Varner on their first. The give is to Phoenix Jones. And he picks up, check it is Laura Horrell. I was expecting, Mike, we might see a lot out of her, the rookie fullback. She picks up 1.
Yeah, Laura Horrell, she's averaging about 3.5 yards per carry, picks up 1 there. It's not sexy, but you got to keep moving forward. Just grind it out, and that's the job that Laura Horrell is going to do for you.
One of the most used fullbacks in the SFL with 33 total touches coming into today. She's had 3 or more carries in every week and already up to 2 so far here in the first quarter. 2nd and 9 for Wilson against a 4-man rush over the middle. That's caught by Jason Bartley. That's the play I was talking about on the tight end, Mike. It works on the touchdown, I should say, and that time it works for a gain of 9.
Yeah, really great to see the rookie Jason Bartley get involved. He stepped it up. Last game, he was the guy that scored the TD in the third quarter. He's up to 18 catches for 146 yards on the season, and he's also got 2 TDs. Nice job by the rookie.
On the outside, Phoenix Jones out of the backfield, gets to the 40 and no further. Nice one-on-one tackle out there by the rookie quarterback, Derek Majors. And yeah, Mike, Jason Bartley fresh off of a career game. 5 catches for 52 yards and that touchdown that you mentioned. Now he's got touchdowns in back-to-back games, nearly 100 receiving yards over those 2 games after he had only about 50 yards over his first 4. So he's starting to heat up.
Absolutely fantastic by the rookie out of Mercedes, Texas. If he can get involved, this Mexico City offense is going to be ferocious.
And of 3 on first down for Jones, and now Wilson out to the near side. That's caught again by Phoenix Jones, who was used quite a bit, like we said. He picks up 3 again through the air.
Yeah, that's why I like Matt Wilson so much. He shows you time in and time again why he is the Bronze Bomber. He's so smooth with his delivery, doesn't really force too much, takes what the defense gives him. If they give him 4 yards, he'll take it. If they give him 10, he'll take it. And right there, he hits Phoenix Jones, and it's 3rd and 4.
Wilson is 10 of his first 12, and only 1 of those completions has gone to a wide receiver. 3rd and 4 over the middle. It's caught by Mike Daggs. The 3rd down safety blanket out across the 25-yard line, and another fresh set of downs for the Aztecs.
Mike Daggs, he's leading the league in receptions for not only tight ends, but wide receivers. Receiving yards. He had 767 coming into the game today, Tim. And he's up to 4 catches now. He's leading the league of all tight ends and wide receivers with 8. I'll tell you what, if I was to have a vote right now, Mike Daggs would be my offensive player of the year.
I think you've got a good case, and he looks for Daggs again, does Matt Wilson, and it's knocked away by Amon Takes, another pass deflection for the 5th-year veteran. He's now got 2 on the season.
Yeah, Matt Wilson was lucky Amon didn't take that away. Yeah. Almost took that, and if he had intercepted that, that was going back for 6. But back to Daggs, Tim. I know we talked about it in our pre-game review. We've looked over the notes. There's certainly plenty of offensive players, especially the runners in the backfield, but they get to do it on the ground, and through that's picked off!
That's a risky pass, and Matt Wilson's throw is right into the hands of Chris Stock. He accelerates to the sideline, and no one is going to catch him. Phoenix Jones is on his tail, but Chris Stock has his 2nd defensive touchdown of the season. He picks off the Hall of Famer and goes all the way for 6.
What an interception by Chris Stock. Just when you think Matt Wilson and the Mexico City offense is slicing like a knife through butter, Stock steps up and takes it back for 6.
What was that for, Mike? I mean, Stock was wide open. It looked like he was running the shallow crossover the middle of the field. Mike Daggs was 8 or so yards off screen.
I think Mike Daggs might have thought that was a run play. He never looked back at Wilson. Stock reacted, and man, did he make Mexico City pay.
12th interception of the season now for Matt Wilson, which honestly is pretty good. It sounds pretty high for 6.5 games, but only 5 players in the league had thrown for fewer than that coming into action this week. And of course, Wilson, 14 touchdown passes. That was 4th best on the other side. It's been a great season for the Bronze Bomber, but Chris Stock, the rookie from St. John, Washington, makes him pay there. David John knocks in the PAT. Portland with a pick 6, and they take an early lead here with 6 seconds to go.
If Portland is going to have a chance to win on the road tonight, that's exactly what they need from their defense. And if they can help put points on the board, watch out for the fearful Fleet on the road.
Stock's 5th interception of the season. That's top 12 in the league. He was one of 18 players with at least 1 defensive touchdown. He's now one of about a half dozen with 2. Jeffrey Daggs on this return for Mexico City, and he gets out to the 25. So Portland gets a defensive touchdown. We mentioned their pass defense has been very good so far this season, and Matt Wilson's going to go right back out there now trailing for the first time.
Yeah, Matt Wilson, he's got to pick himself up. He's got to get this Mexico City team tightened up a little bit. I expect them to maybe run a little bit more on the first couple of plays just to see what they can do on the ground with Phoenix Jones.
3 carries for 10 yards here at the end of the first quarter for Phoenix Jones. Slightly delayed handoff. They will give it to Jones, and he's blown up after a gain of 1 by Frank Champion. His killer season continues. We're done with 1 here south of the border. Portland leading at 7-3 on the road. You're watching the SFL live on Twitch. Happy to have you with us here this evening. First game of our SFL Sunday night doubleheader alongside Mikey Proda. I'm Tim Hackett. Jack Brown and Stephen Hacker doing the stats. Cameron Irvine running the show. Thanks so much for joining us. The other game just kicked off in the Gateway City, Fort Worth at St. Louis. You can catch that game on the SFL's YouTube page with Damon Simeon and Charles Doherty, or you can keep it right here, and we will update you on that game as it progresses. First play of the second quarter after a gain of 1 for Phoenix Jones. Portland showing blitz. They will send only 4. Wilson over the left seam that time, and it's caught by Mike Daggs. His killer day continues, and another first down for Mexico City.
What a pass by Matt Wilson. What a catch by Daggs in traffic. Where did he find the room to find that opening?
I don't know. Daggs has been tremendous this season. And to go back to your comment on the last drive, Mike, I mean, you have a vote for Mike Daggs as offensive MVP so far this year. It's really not a hot take. He's a very deserving candidate. That would give it to Laura Horrell, actually, on the crossing route in the backfield as she picks up maybe 1, stopped by Gary Burning.
Well, thank you very much. Before Chris Stock so rudely interrupted me with that pick 6 interception, I was about to say that there's many people that are deserving right now at the halfway point of the season. Reggie Streeter's been fantastic. There's been other running backs that are very deserving. But when you think of Mike Daggs, all he does is catch passes. He can't run the ball. And with his total yardage and his touchdowns leading the league of all wide receivers, if I had a vote, Mike Daggs is my offensive player of the year.
There's a look at what Matt Wilson could do. He bullets that pass into a tight window, and it's somehow hauled in by K.L. Barrett. Pickup of 11, first down. Oh, maybe not. Hold the phone. Portland is going to throw out the challenge flag.
Did he have a foot out of bounds, Tim?
This is a play that gets reviewed just about every game here in the SFL. It looked good to me on first bluff.
Let's take a look at it again. R6-2 under the canopy. Let's see what he sees. I thought that was good.
It sure looked good to me. I mean, his momentum carries him out, but he had to pivot on his left foot before he could start spinning out of bounds. And Jacob Bouvette issues the challenge, and he's going to win the challenge. The call on the field is overturned, Mike. Wow, score another one in the lost column for me. That's unbelievable. Sure looked like a first down for Barrett, but the referee saw otherwise. On further review, it's overturned. It's going to be 3rd down and long.
Well, you wouldn't want me up at the plate batting against R6-2. I have never gotten a call right that he has overturned.
Yeah, I think my batting average is no better than that, if at all. So now Matt Wilson who has been in this situation before. Bullets it over the right seam. That's caught. Mexico City is able to move the chains after all. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Wilson to KL Barrett, first down.
A little surprised to see the Portland defense give so much cushion to KL Barrett, but Matt Wilson seemed like he could pick out any of his three receivers that were coming across the middle. He looks at Barrett, and he nails him with a perfect pass. They're up to the Portland 48.
Second reception by a wide receiver in this game, and Matt Wilson has completed 13 passes. We'll introduce you to the rest of the personnel here on offense for Mexico City. You have heard from just about everybody because they've run about 30 offensive plays. Here comes another one. Wilson, deep bomb. That's a risky pass, and it's picked off again. Second interception of the game thrown by Matt Wilson. This to the other starting quarterback, Derek Majors.
Derek Majors out of Chicago, Illinois. He's the other rookie. He had a 40-yard pick six against Denver. Lucky that one didn't get taken back. Good job by Barrett to hold him down. But man, oh man, Matt Wilson, 2 interceptions on 2 consecutive drives, and Portland's inside the Bronze Bombers' head.
Well, that box out move by Derek Majors, the former quarterback, one-on-one against KL Barrett, just bodies him to the side, gets in the way of that Matt Wilson pass, and now Portland with the ball again, their third offensive possession. With the lead for the first time, South under pressure. He goes down, just barely able to throw it away, hit from behind by Skylar Kingsley.
Skylar Kingsley nailed Matt South, and South was lucky to get that one away. His arm was going forward, and the pass falls incomplete.
We introduce you to that Mexico City defense. We like to do that here in the SFL. We're behind schedule. The defensive line, Brock Lee, Andre Krim, Scott Stover, and Skylar Kingsley, a pair of rookies and a pair of sophomores. The linebackers, Dexter Jackson and KT Horrell, and 5 stars in the secondary. Matt South under center, offset eye behind him. Delayed handoff to John Trusman, tries to go outside, and Portland fans are tired of seeing that. It's been a tough season for John Trusman. He stopped for a loss of 2 by Dexter Jackson.
Yeah, Dexter Jackson out of Dixon, Tennessee. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of K's and S's and O's in Action and Jackson in Dixon, Tennessee. Well, last week, Action Jackson, he was the guy that picked off that pass when Vancouver was driving down the field, and he comes up with a nice tackle there on Trusman.
Been long for South, risky pass, pawed away by KT Horrell. Looking for Valentine over the middle, and the rookie from Pennsylvania says, not so fast, 4th down.
Incredible job by the Mexico City Aztecs defense to get themselves off the field after that interception that Portland picked up. But Portland's really going to have to pick it up on offense, Tim. I know they're a young team. They've got a lot of rookies, but they're last in points per game, only 12. They're second to last in rush yards, really ranked towards the bottom of the league and last in yards per game, passing touchdowns. They've only got 4 TDs total on the whole year. This offense is really going to need to pick it up here on the road if they plan to win.
There's really no way around it, Mike. I mean, the stats for the Portland offense, they don't look pretty. You just highlighted a couple of them, and then unofficially, so far here, after 3 offensive possessions, 8 net yards of offense, 7 passing for South, 1 net rushing yard for John Trusman, and yet they have the lead with 2 minutes gone here in the second quarter.
Well, that's what defense will do for you. And if the defense can come up, if they can score points and they can keep picking off the Bronze Bomber, Matt Wilson, they're going to keep themselves in this game.
He's been his own worst enemy so far. Now he'll check it down to Phoenix Jones. They try to get out of the backfield, and Phoenix Jones cannot get out of the backfield. Derek Majors with another big play, a gain of just 1.
The secondary of the Portland Fleet has come to play tonight. They certainly did not drink the water here in Mexico City. It looks like they've been eating the hot tamales because this defense is on fire.
So the Mexico City offense, the only person we haven't heard from is Richard Montague, the 8th-year veteran wide receiver, and Stu McKenzie anchors the offensive line. He's wearing number 59 on the left guard in the Mexico City Reds. 2nd and 9, Wilson to the far sideline. That's caught by Mike Daggs again. He lowers the shoulder, tiptoes the sideline. He's forced out at midfield by Stock, and another first down for Mexico City.
Mike Daggs, you can't stop this big tight end. You can only hope to contain him, and he has a nice little out route, picks up the first down, and Mexico City's on the move.
6 catches for 60 yards already for Mike Daggs through a quarter and a half. But we mentioned this, Mike. I mean, this isn't usually the strategy for Mexico City. Yeah, it's still an average of 10 yards per reception for Daggs so far, but he averages better than 18 and a half yards per catch. That's 4th best in the entire league if you don't have any sort of reception requirements. So he's been more of a possession guy so far as Wilson floats it up, and it's picked off once again. 3rd interception of the first half. That one by Dakota Johansson, his 4th of the season.
Everybody's come to the INT party here in Mexico City for the Portland Fleet, and they've picked off Matt Wilson for the third time here, and it's only the second quarter.
This is just unbelievable. You don't see this from Matt Wilson very often. And that time, Dakota Johansson, look at the ups on him as well. Skied up, Montague and Barrett were both in the area for Wilson, but Johansson got up higher than either of them and takes it away.
Coming into tonight's game, Matt Wilson had 11 interceptions. Now he's up to 14, and he's not going to like that stat line when this one's over.
Same number of interceptions as touchdowns thrown now as John Trusman picks up one through the air, stopped by Napier. So rudely interrupted by that last turnover on down, so we'll tell you about the rest of the Mexico City defense. Jack Napier is a corner. You look at him there. Han Tayumi, Greg Gaines. The other corners and the safeties, Jeffrey Daggs and Matthew Lee. Now you're just about all caught up, I believe. 2nd and 9 for Matt South. From the I formation, they'll give to John Trusman, and he's hit from behind by Skylar Kingsley and a couple of others. He picks up 2.
That seems to be happening quite a bit tonight, my good friend Tim Hackett. Every time we're trying to make a point, the defense is interrupting us with big interceptions.
How dare they do their job, stopping doing ours. I can't believe these people. The John Trusman, Mike, I mean, it's been a tough season so far for him, as we've outlined already, but the other guy that has had a tough season so far, Scott Johnson, he broke out earlier. Can Trusman do the same? South over the middle, has a man wide open out across midfield, out inside the Mexico City 45. Connor Weston with a big gain.
Yeah, Connor Weston, he was the hero last week, and he had that 54-yard TD catch from South that put the Portland Fleet over the top of the Houston Hyenas 20-17. And you can see South, when he rears back, when he's got the time for his offensive line, he can throw a laser.
Despite Matt South's struggles so far this year, Connor Weston has been great. The rookie wide receiver from Boston, top 20 in receiving yards, top 15 in catches. And he's been really good.
13 receptions for 144 yards and that big touchdown. As we mentioned, Tim, if he can keep that up, that's exactly what Portland needs from these rookie wideouts.
That was a risky pass from South going for Weston on a post route. It was knocked away by Tayumi. And now South to the near side. Safer play. Risky catch, though, as Trusman is somehow able to haul it in, and he picks up 6. Portland now breaks out the hurry up for the first time.
Yeah, keep Mexico City on their heels, but Trusman's the guy. He's the X factor for this offense. He's got to get it going.
3rd and 4, South evades pressure, floats it up, risky pass, and it's intercepted. Mexico City gets a turnover. Han Tayumi down the right sidelines and out of bounds inside Portland territory. 4th pick for the 4th-year veteran, Han Tayumi.
Big-time interception by Han Tayumi. He picks up interception number 5. He says, listen, I'm here at the big fiesta. Let me into the INT party. And he picks off South.
Honestly, Tayumi's stats so far this season remarkably similar to Chris Stocks, who we just said. Tayumi gets more tackles. He is the number 1 corner on this team. A couple of pass deflections now, 5 interceptions, and a defensive touchdown. Chris Stock, 2 pass deflections, now 5 interceptions and 2 defensive touchdowns. Remarkably similar for the rookie Stock and the 4th-year veteran Tayumi. Now Matt Wilson trailing by only 4. First takeaway for Mexico City. Wilson will check it down to Phoenix Jones, and he's hit after a gain of 5 by Chris Stock. I'm sorry, it's TJ Punk. I can't ID TJ Punk for some reason, but either way, he's got his 3rd catch and a gain of 5.
Yeah, that's why he's a punk. It's tough to see his number. He won't let you see it. But,
right.
Tim, right now, you might want to mark that down. And for all the people watching, the Portland Fleet, they've picked off Wilson 3 times, but they haven't been able to capitalize. No points on the turnovers.
There's a point after turnover as Wilson bombs it down the right side, and he links up with Richard Montague for the touchdown. Oh, check it. It is Richard Montague. I was right the first time that time, and Mexico City is into the end zone for the first time.
It's only a matter of time before Richard Montague and Matt Wilson hook up, and the Bronze Bomber finds the count. For touchdown number 1.
First touchdown since week 1 for Richard Montague. It has been a long time coming. His 2nd of the season and 46th of his career. Top 25 all time in receiving touchdowns. We mentioned 0 catches on 1 target prior to that. For Richard Montague, he's finally on the board. Mexico City's in the end zone.
Yeah, Richard Montague finally comes alive, went across the middle of the field, beat the safety, and Matt Wilson hit him deep to find pay dirt, and that's his 2nd touchdown on the year.
Varner on for the PAT, and he knocks it through. 5.5 to go in the 2nd quarter, and Mexico City takes the lead right back. 2 plays, 33 yards, and a 28-yard touchdown link up from Matt Wilson to Richard Montague. And like you said, Mike, that is the way to respond. We saw Portland unable to capitalize on their last 2 takeaways. Mexico City now gets one. Hantayumi gets them out across midfield. 2 plays later, they're in the end zone.
Yeah, when you're throwing interceptions and the other team isn't going to score, you're really just giving the offense some time to collect themselves and get some rest. But when the Mexico City defense gets a turnover, they make it hurt.
Now what can Portland do? They were finally moving the ball a little bit. They convert a third down as South links up with Connor Weston, and then they turn it over. 15th interception on the season for Matt South, which was 5th most coming in. It's kind of interesting how everybody's so bunched up. Wilson had the 4th fewest interceptions at 11, and South had the 5th most at 14. So not really a whole lot of breathing room there, separating those two on opposite ends of the spectrum. 1st and 10 for South. Has a man to the left side. It's intercepted again. Back-to-back picks by Hantayumi. Same play, same results.
Hantayumi, very timely, and he's getting the job done from Mexico City. Matt South now all of a sudden is seeing ghosts. He's been picked off on 2 consecutive passes.
Hantayumi now 6 interceptions on the season, 29 in his career. And you're right, Mike. Back-to-back passes, back-to-back picks, same target, same recipient. Going for Weston on a post on the left, and Hantayumi takes it away. And so Matt Wilson now will start inside the enemy 40-yard line for the 2nd straight time. Phoenix Jones gets the carry. Big hole for Phoenix Jones out across the 25 and down to the 24. A gain of 14. Phoenix Jones with his longest run of the game.
Excellent vision by Phoenix Jones. He ran right behind the guard, Stu McKenzie, and he picks up big yardage. Mexico City and Uncle Mo are back again.
Not been an easy season so far for Phoenix Jones, and Mexico City fans know the storyline already, taking over the halfback role from the departed Ray Bentley after Jones was the fullback here for Ramos Lynn last year. And it's not been easy sailing for him so far. They will give it to the new fullback, Laura Horrell, who has taken the reins after Jones made that aforementioned move to tailback. She gets nothing, stopped up there one-on-one by Mel Davis.
Not an easy job. Everybody thinks, hey, hand it off to me and I'm going to run forever. But it's certainly an art. It's certainly a craft. Phoenix Jones, he's a grinder. He's a workaholic. He averages about 3.4 yards per carry, but he's got 4 TDs. And on this drive, he's going to be looking for number 5.
We'll give it to him again, and he picks up 3. I mean, you're right. 18th in the league in carries, 18th in rushing yards at exactly 350 coming into today, but 4 touchdowns, that's top half of the league, and an average yards per carry of about 3.4, which is bottom half of the league. So some good, some bad for Phoenix Jones, but like you said, he gets it done. He knows how to score, even though the auxiliary numbers don't look all that good sometimes. 3rd and 7 for Wilson. Over the middle, has a man wide open. It's caught by Bartley, and then he fumbles the ball. It's loose, and I think Portland's got it. No, Stu McKenzie comes out of nowhere and saves the day for Mexico City.
What an unbelievable break from Mexico City. Stu McKenzie, very alert. I thought Portland was going to get turnover number 4, but the big guard reacts and saves this drive. Mexico City very fortunate to still have possession on the Portland 11.
Saves the day is right, and now Wilson with a fresh life to the corner of the end zone, knocked away, incomplete. Derek Majors has been a beast so far in this game. He was going for Montague. Majors reaches up his left hand and swats it away.
What an athletic play by Derek Majors. I thought Montague had beat him in the back of the end zone. He had about 4 or 5 yards on the route, but Majors jumps up. Lucky to get the hand up and knock that one down.
VP of the game so far, front runner Stu McKenzie keeps Mexico City alive. They've got a 3-point lead and now the chance to add to it. But a nice play by Derek Majors, who's now got 3 pass deflections on the season to go with now his 3 interceptions. You see him there one-on-one against Richard Montague, the number 1 wideout for Mexico City at the bottom of the screen. Portland moves folks to the top. They got 7 men in the box. Mexico City with 2 in the backfield. They give to Phoenix Jones. Huge hole for Phoenix Jones, but out of nowhere, somebody in the secondary comes up and lays the wood on Phoenix Jones after a gain of 7.
What a great block by Laura Horrell to spring Phoenix Jones down to the Portland 5. Amazing hole as they gave it to him on the halfback dive. It's 3rd and 3. This is a big-time play for Portland, Tim. Watch out for Dags.
That is who they go to in this situation more often than not. They will spread it out on the bottom of the screen, bunch it up to the top of the screen. Portland will pack the line on defense. Brief drop for Wilson. Hit as he throws over the middle. Tipped again and incomplete. Going for Montague, but Derek Majors once again, great one-on-one coverage. Fourth down.
Incredible pressure by defensive ends. Robert Brower and Derwin Nuevo, they sandwiched Wilson in the backfield. And that one almost got picked off. But Mexico City, once again on the turnover, is going to be able to capitalize. And hopefully they bring out Cole Varner and successfully kick the field goal for 3.
Varner's already made one chip shot earlier on in this game. This one from about the same distance. The kicker from Andalusia, Alabama, knocks it through from 21. And so Varner, after you mentioned, Mike, missed 2 field goals, both from 45 yards or longer last week. A rare sight for one of the best kickers in league history. Is back on the good side of things with 2 makes and 2 attempts here.
Cole Varner, he's 2 for 2 for tonight. He was 1 for 3 against Vancouver. Now, listen, he missed a 55-yarder and a 53-yarder, but, so you can't hold that against him. But you got to go all the way back to his second season where he missed 3 field goals in his sophomore year. He was 21 out of 24. Since then, Tim, 103 for 103. Cole Varner, the Hall of Fame, future Hall of Fame, field goal kicker for the Aztecs.
Than 100 straight makes, like you said, that is impressive no matter when and how you do it. And he's got 2 more to try to bounce back from a poor week by his standards. But like you said, I mean, and Ramos Lynn said at the time, the head coach and owner here of Mexico City, said, look, the wind was against him. 2 kicks from better than 50 yards. Not easy even for Cole Varner. He's 2 of 2 today. Matt South now trailing again. Hit as he throws. He goes down, but he's able to get the pass away. Skylar Kingsley has been bossing it so far today.
Skylar Kingsley, he's come to play tonight in his second season. He's got 2 sacks and 2 tackles for losses. But back to Varner, the field goal kicker. He's been legendary in his career. Certainly disappointed when you miss field goals at any type of distance on the field. But the main thing for him, Mexico City picked up the victory. They moved to 4-2, and the W is the only thing that matters at the end of the day.
Second down and 10 for Matt South. 2.5 to go in the second quarter to the far sideline. That's caught again by Connor Weston. Matt South has now completed 6 passes, Mike. 3 to Weston, 3 to John Truzman. I'm sorry, I misspoke. 5 completed passes, 3 to Weston, 2 to Truzman. That's it.
Yeah, only 41%, 5 out of 12. The problem, Tim, is yards per attempt, only 2.7. He's got to throw it a little bit deeper.
Going back to Skylar Kingsley, it's been a quiet couple of weeks for him. Didn't have a sack or a tackle for loss since week 2, and only 2 tackles since that time, and he's been good today. Third down, South over the middle. The pass is, I thought it was caught too. Weston was the man in the area, dives and rolls around on the turf, trying to haul it in, but it hits the ground first.
Yeah, when he came across the field, his body just shielded me from seeing where the ball was, and I guess it did hit the ground. I thought he almost made an unbelievable diving play.
It looked good to me, but it will fall incomplete, and so Dominic Birkin is on to punt once again. Portland has had a tough time of it here in the last couple of minutes or so. They barely moved the ball in the second quarter, if we're being honest. 4th down and the punt from Birkin. Jeff Daggs ready to receive. Fields inside his 41, spin move, and gets out to the 42. So Portland, Mike, as you mentioned, a killer comeback last week against Houston. They were in somewhat of a similar situation to this. The offense had been slow against a solid Hyena defense, but then all of a sudden, out of nowhere in the fourth quarter, they scored 10 points in the final couple of minutes, come back and win an epic comeback victory for the first win in franchise history, trying to parlay some of that momentum into 2 wins in a row, they hope.
They ended the half 3-3 last week, Tim, and then in the fourth quarter, they came out of nowhere.
Here's another interception, 4th of the day for Matt Wilson, over the middle, taken away by Dakota Johansson. His 2nd pick of the ball game, 5th of the season, and this is just unlike Matt Wilson.
The Fleet secondary are certainly rattling the Bronze Bomber tonight. Dakota Johansson with his 2nd INT of the night. And this is what's going to haunt Portland, Tim. They've got 4 turnovers, only 7 points on the board. They're down by 6. They got to make this hurt. They got to come down and put points on the board after they pick off all of these passes.
Of course, their only points coming off of an interception, the pick 6 by Chris Stock. But other than that, nothing going for the Portland offense, but they get another lifeline. They'll start out across midfield. Best field position in a while for Matt South. Over the middle, caught for a short gain by Connor Weston once again. Less than 2 minutes to go here in this game. 2-minute warning. Mexico City on top, 13-7. This is the SFL live on Twitch. Happy to have you with us here tonight. Second down coming up. Let's go back to the SFL studio for a game break. Here's Cameron Irvine.
Thanks, Tim. Offensive struggles in St. Louis, but Fort Worth looking for their first road victory, off to a good start. 7-0 over the Gladiators halfway through the second. Back to Mexico City.
Salah Kamish on 2nd and 8 south to the near side. That's caught by Gene Valentine. First catch by somebody not named Weston or Truzman, Mike, and Portland picks up the first down.
Gene Valentine, he finally checks into tonight's ball game. He comes in with 30 receptions.
Last week, 7 catches for 61 yards, and frankly, that has been about par for the course for Valentine. 4th time this season in his first 6 games that he's finished between 60 and 70 yards. One time with more than that, one time with less than that for the rookie from Haiti. First down for him here. On his first catch, South takes his time, less than 2 to go. South now to the top of the field, that's caught by Connor Weston.
Connor Weston does a nice job. A minute 53, gets out of bounds.
It's pickup of 6, and now South will go back the other way, and it's caught by Valentine. Another gain of 6, and Portland moves the sticks again.
And this is the way Portland starts to move the ball. They take a little bit deeper shot, and now they're starting to become very effective.
Back and forth they go to the top of the field this time, and it's caught by Weston for a gain of 5.
A and B just keep going to it. They're moving the ball. They're up to the 20.
They go to the near side. You bet they will. It's caught by Valentine, but he's short of the line to gain that time. He gets 4, escorted out there by Greg Gaines. So they go to the top of the field, to the bottom of the field, top of the field, bottom of the field, and they've moved the ball about 35 yards over the last 4 plays.
They ran the same play 4 times in a row. 2 to Connor up at the top of the screen to the left, 2 to Vandelay down at the bottom of the screen to the right, and they're moving the ball effectively. 3rd and inches. This is a big play right here. If they hand it off to Truzman, he's got to get it.
They will pack it in on 3rd down and inches after they had spread it out. The give is to John Truzman. He goes outside and he can't get the edge. Tim Jones, the right guard, was on the pull, but Truzman could not get around. He stopped in the backfield by Han Tayumi.
Han Tayumi, what a night he's having here in front of the home crowd. He hits Truzman for a 2-yard loss on 3rd and inches, and it looks like Portland may go for this, Tim.
For a surprising development here, 4th from the 17-yard line. Maybe this will be the patented bait and switch. 12 seconds on the play clock, 1:12 to go in the quarter, and Matt South will indeed call a timeout. I mean, what do you think, Mike? Portland's offense has been scuffling here in this quarter. There's no way around that. And now they're finally moving the ball. They get the hurry up working a little bit. They get now down inside the red zone for the first time. They come up short on the run to Truzman, so it's 4th down. Do you go for it, or do you just send out David John?
It's very frustrating. We're here in the second half. The Portland Fleet have picked off Matt Wilson 5 times. They have not come away with any points on any of these turnovers. As much as you hate to see this drive stall out here at the Mexico City 17, they need to put the field goal on the board here before the half. They need to come away with some points after their defense has played so well.
So here comes David John on for the field goal, and he nails it from 33. He has been really good recently, Mike. He's now 10 of 10 on the season, 5 of 5 in that 1 week against Carolina, but he's now 9 of 9 over the last 4 games.
David John, he was the hero last week. He booted the 51-yarder to beat the Houston Hyenas 20-17 for the Portland Fleet's first win in franchise history, and he loves kicking field goals. He watches his games with his kitten Jupiter, Tim.
It's nice to have a friend along with you, right? That's why I've been happy to be here with you all season, Mike. It's nice to have a friend here with you as you go along. I'm sure Mike Daggs would agree. He and his running mate, Matt Wilson, have been friends for a long time, and they have been partners here in the SFL for quite some time as well. Jeffrey Daggs, Mike's son, out across the 25. So all 3 timeouts, a Hall of Fame quarterback running the show, 62 seconds to go. Plenty of time, you would think, for the Aztecs to at least contend.
When you have the offense of Wilson, Daggs, Barrett, Montague, and Bartley, watch out. Minute 2 left with 3 timeouts. Ramos Lynn is licking his chops.
Now Matt Wilson will throw over the middle. It's caught by Mike Daggs once again for a gain of 8. This is just par for the course here for this Mexico City offense, Mike. Pickup of 8, stopped by Davis, but the clock keeps running.
Really surprised that they're just taking their time. I thought they might come out in the hurry up while valuable time ticking off the clock.
I'm surprised by this too. I'm not really sure. The urgency is gone. All 3 timeouts. You would think that Mexico City would be more aggressive here, but they will give it to Phoenix Jones, and a nice hole left tackle for Jones. Stopped by Derek Majors, first down.
In the hurry up now, but they let about 25 seconds go. They should have picked that up and gone to the hurry up on that last play.
3 timeouts left as well, and they will run the same play to Jones. He breaks one tackle. Phoenix Jones gets to the sideline, breaks another tackle from Stock, and he's taken down at the 27-yard line by Sean Allen. A huge gain off left tackle for Phoenix Jones, and finally Mexico City will use its first timeout.
Phoenix Jones making the most of his opportunities. Butts breaks a tackle off the left end and pulls away. And now he's got Mexico City in field goal range with 11 seconds left to go before the half.
Big run of 40 yards for Phoenix Jones, his longest of the season, Mike. His previous long was 25.
Unbelievable. Phoenix Jones making the most of his opportunities. Right now, 9 carries unofficially for 79 yards. His yards per carry is up to 8.8, and here comes Cole Varner.
They're going to pull the plug on this drive a little bit earlier than I would have imagined, Mike, and they'll send out Cole Varner for what should be about a 43-yard kick with 11 seconds to go. Pull down from Jay McDaniel, and the kick from Varner is up and good from 43. It's a hat trick from Varner, 3 of 3 on the day, and Mexico City extends the lead.
I'm sorry, Tim, didn't mean to speak in front of you, but a little surprised that they brought out Varner so soon. 11 seconds with 2 timeouts. I may have taken 1 or 2 shots to see if we could have popped it into the end zone for Mexico City, but they play it safe. They get the 3 points, and they're up by 6.
Oh, you're good. I'm sorry I teed you up and then cut right back in, but Varner, look, I mean, I'm surprised. You've got one of the best kickers in the league at your disposal. Yeah, you know, but you had 11 seconds and 2 timeouts. I am surprised that Mexico City didn't at least try for the end zone at least one more time. You got a couple of safety blankets at your disposal. And delay on the return out to the 22 and no further. So now only 2 seconds left for Portland. They do have 2 timeouts. Doesn't really matter much. Any chance we see Matt South try to make something happen?
It's possible, but I'd be surprised if they try to get aggressive with 2 seconds left. They're doing very well on defense. They've picked off Matt Wilson 5 times in the first half. I think Portland's frustrated with the score, but very happy that they're only down by 6.
Still a 1-point game after all this for Portland. Last play of the half, South quick check down over the middle. That's caught for a gain of 5 by Gene Valentine. He was very busy down the stretch here in the second quarter after he didn't have any catches in the first. And that'll take us to halftime here from Estadio Azteca. The home team on top 16-10. Mike, the storyline here, all the turnovers. We mentioned it before. Matt South turns the ball over quite a bit. Matt Wilson does not. But to this point of the game, Matt Wilson has committed a lot more turnovers than has Matt South, and that has been the difference in the game.
Yeah, really surprised at turnovers for Mexico City. I would have never have guessed that Matt Wilson would be struggling like this, but to be up by 6 points is really a credit to the Mexico City defense, particularly Han Tayumi, who's come up with 2 big-time interceptions on the defense for the Aztecs. But the storyline to me is not only the Portland defense, but more importantly, the Portland offense not being able to capitalize on those turnovers, and that's why they're down by 6 points.
I think 1 touchdown courtesy of Richard Montague. Everything else has been Cole Varner field goals. You know how nearly automatic he is. But Portland's only points so far, that 1 late field goal from David John and the pick 6 in the first quarter from Chris Stock. Other than that, really not a whole lot going on offense for both these teams.
No, Portland hasn't scored any offensive touchdowns. If it wasn't that pick 6 for Stock, they wouldn't have any points on the board, but, just a David John field goal. And that's been the problem for the Portland Fleet. Their defense has done fine. Their defense has kept them in games. Their defense has provided opportunity for their offense. But when Matt South is only averaging 3.4 yards attempt, and John Truzman only 6 yards on, only 2 yards on 6 carries, it's going to be very, very difficult to come out on top.
It's just two tough stat lines offensively for Portland, no question about it. And just been a tough sledding so far for John Truzman. I was going to ask you at the top of the show, Mike, what's your key to success? How does Portland come here on the road now with only a 6-point deficit at the half? What do they do to get their biggest win, and would be their biggest win in franchise history? What's their key to success?
Same thing that they did last week when they beat the Houston Hyenas in the fourth quarter. They got to air it out. Right now, their air attack is where they need to focus their attention, and they're just not taking the deep shots. I know South has been picked off 2 times. It's a young team, but right now, that's their strength. That's what they need to focus on, and they need to get their wide receivers more involved, and they need to throw the ball downfield. These little short dink and dunks, these little out routes to Truzman out of the backfield, that's just not going to get it done. That's not what's going to put them over the top. They got to air it out, they got to take shots, and they got to get the ball to their best players, and that's Vandelay, Valentine, and Weston.
Well, both of these defenses have been excellent so far today. Like we said, Mike, it's kind of maybe a bit of a surprise because they're both bottom 5 in the league in points allowed, and they both give up a ton of yards. But so far today, only 26 combined points allowed. Of course, 7 of those were defensive points. 6 combined takeaways, only 1 combined touchdown through one half here south of the border.
Well, when you look at the numbers, that's the way the needle kind of tilts, Tim. I mean, Portland's got to take a shot at this Mexico City Aztec defense. They've been known so far through the half point of the season to give up big plays on the pass. They rank about 19th in average points allowed per game. Mexico City gives up an average of 27 points per game. They rank second to last in average yards through the year per game, 330. They're 19th in average total yards allowed per game, over 400. And right now, that's what Portland needs to do. They need to exploit that secondary, and they need to take shots deep.
You had mentioned that earlier in the game because Ramos Lin, the head coach here for Mexico City, had told you as much this week. Mexico City has been susceptible to the big plays all season. That has cost them mightily in their 2 losses. They're 4-2 so far this season, and Portland has not really been able to get those chunk plays going. Their longest was a 15-yard completion from South to Connor Weston. So Matt Wilson with the ball and a 6-point lead. He will link up with Mike Daggs again. I'll check it, actually. That's a backup, Robert Woodard. That looked like a carbon copy of some of those earlier plays, Mike and Proda. But this time they go to Robert Woodard, who's the number 5 wide receiver on this team, and he picks up 9.
Yeah, nice play out of the half by Matt Wilson to find up the backup wide receiver, Robert Woodard. Don't let Wilson start to heat up because that could be disaster.
Usually it's Nicholas Daggs who makes plays like that, but this time it's Woodard. To the outside goes Phoenix Jones, breaks through the first hit and gets the first down. Could have been stopped for a loss, but instead Phoenix Jones picks up 4.
Really impressed with Phoenix Jones, the second-year man out of Springfield, Massachusetts. He's looked very strong, taking advantage of his opportunities. He doesn't get a lot of carries, but right now he's doing excellent. Keep feeding prime-time Phoenix Jones.
Went up on a season high in rush yards as well. That high was 85 in week 5 against Houston. His high in total yards was 88 a couple of weeks prior. Wilson darts it over the middle, risky pass, but it's caught somehow right out to midfield. Stopped by Mel Davis. Jason Bartley with another big gain.
Jason Bartley, the rookie, he's having a nice day, and Wilson is starting to get into his groove. I can see it, Tim. What a laser beam he hit Bartley right across the middle of the field. They're up to the Mexico City 48.
Of course, since Wilson goes to Mike Daggs so much, he's really the number 1 target on a lot of possessions. That, of course, naturally means fewer targets, fewer receptions for their top 3 wide receivers. But even with that said, Bartley has been heating up over the last couple of weeks, the undrafted free agent from Mercedes, Texas. And on the ground, they will go back to Phoenix Jones, and he picks up 4, running left guard behind Stu McKenzie. You see him there, the guy who picked up the critical fumble earlier on in the game, tackled by Davis once again.
Yeah, Phoenix Jones, he's looked fantastic. Keep giving him the ball. He's been very effective, really running strong tonight.
1 catch for Barrett, 1 catch for Montague, the top 2 wideouts for Mexico City to this point of the game, and they still lead. Wilson has time to the far sideline, caught once again for a gain of 4. Is that Bartley again? Sure is. Jason Bartley with his 4th catch of the game.
Great job by Bartley. This kid's looked excellent tonight. The rookie is starting to heat up. He's saying, hey, listen, Richard Montague, Mike Daggs, TJ Punk. I'm tired of letting you guys get all the receptions. Throw it my way. I'll have it stick into my hands.
You make a good point. Bartley and Punk have combined for 7 catches. Mike Daggs also has 7 catches. And then Barrett, Montague, and Phoenix Jones have combined for 7 of their own right. Now up the middle goes Phoenix Jones. Another nice carry for Phoenix Jones. Rising from the ashes out across the 35.
Phoenix Jones, as you can see right there on the stat line, 7.5 yards per carry, and this could very well be the first 100-yard game of Phoenix Jones' career. He's getting right there to that century mark.
New season high rushing yards unofficially, as you say, Mike, 96 unofficial yards, breaking his previous high of 85 that he set 2 weeks ago against Houston. Jones with the best game of his season, no question about it. First down, and they go back to him. They do. Phoenix Jones to the 30-yard line, and that's going to put him right on that century mark. First time this season that Phoenix Jones has cracked triple digits.
My buddy Phoenix Jones, he's a New Englander. He's out of Massachusetts. We were both drafted last year in the first round. Good for you, Phoenix Primetime Jones. 100 yards rushing so far tonight, and there's still a ton of game left to go.
No question about it. Just 3 minutes gone here in the second quarter. Mexico City got to try to nurse this lead. They might have to feed him even more. Wilson takes his time. Play action this time. Wilson to the far sideline. That's caught by Cale Barrett. Tiptoes the sideline and goes out of bounds at the 20. Nice pickup through the air. Second catch for Barrett.
Tremendous job that Ramos Lynn did at halftime to make some adjustments. He knows that Matt Wilson's been frustrated big time in the first half, and Wilson has come out and looked absolutely fantastic. And it's because of that guy that's opened it up right there. Phoenix Jones, 13 carries, 94 yards on the game board. He'll be over 100 very, very soon.
Very soon. Might be here as he gets it to the left side, and he's stopped up just a couple of yards short. Man, we've been waiting for that to happen for Phoenix Jones, haven't we? He gets 4. He's just going to be a couple of yards away. You see at the top of the screen, Bernard Patterson, 64 in the white and orange. He is back and playing after he left injured in the first quarter. That's a good sight for Portland.
And that's what's going to help out Matt Wilson, as we just mentioned. If Phoenix Jones is effective running the ball, then Portland's going to have to stack the box, and that could be very, very dangerous, especially when you had the Bronze Bomber just picking out any receiver he wants. It's a double-edged sword, and pretty soon, if they let Phoenix Jones start piling up the yardage, it's really just pick your poison.
Will go empty here, and Wilson links up with Montague for a gain of 4. And you're right, Mike. I mean, now Portland, has to respect the rushing attack of Phoenix Jones, which isn't something that Mexico City has been able to flash consistently so far this year. So now that they know that Jones has that in his game so far today, you can't just sell out for the pass all the time. That time they spread it out, they pick up 4, but now Mexico City will pack the box once again. 3rd and 2 from the 11. Wilson will pass, has a couple of receivers open. He goes this way. Mike Daggs is open and into the end zone for the 9th time this season. He's back atop the SFL leaderboards.
Mike Daggs from Matt Wilson. That's the dynamic duo we've been waiting for all night long, and they strike again. Mike Daggs has a touchdown in every game this year.
And that's not going to stop here today. 9 touchdowns now in 6.5 games for Mike Daggs, the league leader in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. Gunnar Lewis had drawn even with a touchdown this week for Sioux Falls. A couple of other folks are at 7, but Mike Daggs is firmly atop the table once again. He's now over 800 receiving yards on the season in less than 7 games. Cole Varner on for the PAT. Good snap, good hold, not a lot of pressure, and Varner knocks it through. Mexico City on top 23-10.
Really deflating for that Portland Fleet defense. They've played so well in the first half. They turned off they picked off, excuse me, Tim, my words here. They picked off Matt Wilson 4 times in the first half. They just can't capitalize. And then to open up the half, they come down. Phoenix Jones rips them apart on the ground and pound, and Daggs hits him with the dagger on the 11-yard TD pass.
Spin move by Vandelay, but he's only able to get to the 21. I mean, get this. I want to talk about how dominant Mike Daggs has been. He has never had a 1,000-yard season in his career, and now, through 6.5 games, like we've said, has more receiving yards this year than he had all of last season. which was one of the better seasons of his career. He had less than 800 receiving yards a season ago, and now he's got about 840. And it's milestone watch time for Dags. He's about 100 yards away from 5,000 in his career, and we know that he wants to pull something like that out of his hat. Matt South needs to make something happen here, and he links up over the middle for a gain of about 8 through the air for Gavin Bouvetts, the number 4 wide receiver.
Yeah, Matt South, he's going to have to reach back and pull some extra ammunition out of his arsenal. He's going to have to start hitting his wide receivers with some quick strikes. He's going to have to pull off another comeback victory like he did last week.
A tough season to this point of the year for Matt South, like we said, but he is off of the best game of his Portland career, no question about it. And of course, their first win of the season. Here goes Truzman, and a nice hole opens up for John Truzman. He lowers the shoulder and picks up the stick. So South last week against Houston, 40 of 55, 390 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. All of those were season highs. He had never had 40 attempts in a game at 55, never had 250 passing yards in a game at 390, and he had never had more than 1 touchdown in a game, and he had 2. All season highs for the third-year man from North Carolina. Quick hitter this time, and he links up with Connor Weston once again for a gain of 4.
Well, the big thing is the offensive line. He needs time. He needs the protection. He's been sacked 23 times this year, which was tied for most coming into tonight's game. But he was only sacked once in that victory versus Houston. And that's really where that's where the passing attack starts. He needs protection. I know it seems obvious, but it's so key.
Sacked 12 times in that game in week 3 against Las Vegas alone. The highest marks in the league as Truzman is stopped for a loss of 2 by Dexter Jackson. You and I saw Las Vegas the week after that, Mike and Proto, and we talked about it then. Las Vegas pitched a shutout in that game. Portland did not manage a single point against the Fury, and that is not something that you see very often here in the SFL. 13-0 win for Vegas on the strength of 12 sacks of Matt South. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's been very frustrating for Portland. I know this is their first year. They're going to battle. They're going to keep fighting, and they're going to keep going. But they could very easily be 3-3, Tim. In week 1, I know that they started off a little slow against Sioux Falls. 37-7, they got blown out. But in week 2, against the first-place Denver Nightwings, they were very unfortunate. Just didn't have luck on their side. They lost by a point. And then, as you mentioned, in week 3, they got shot out against Vegas. Week 4, they had another difficult 3-point loss to Carolina. Week 5, they got blown out against Louisiana, and then they had the dramatic fourth quarter win over Houston, 20-17. They stand at 1-5, but if the ball had just bounced a little differently, they could be very, very easily 3-3 tonight.
A.T. Horo with another pass deflection on that third down play on that last play for Portland, or for Mexico City, I should say, looking like David Horo, who had a handful of those last week. We saw for Fort Worth, and so KT Oral makes the stop on third down, and that brings up a 4th down punting situation for Dominic Birkin. And so Matt Wilson and Mike Daggs and our look at Richard Montague will take back over on offense with a 13-point lead. Mexico City has been in close games every week. They're 4-2, so they've gotten on top in most of those games. They've never blown anybody out. On the top of the screen, it's caught by Richard Montague. He's starting to heat up his 3rd catch.
3 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown. Nice evening so far for Montague, but the Portland Fleet defense better be careful. This is the danger zone, Tim. They're down by 13. If Mexico City comes down and scores another touchdown, boy, oh boy, are they really putting themselves in a deep hole.
Montague is now top 25 in SFL history all time in career catches, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. Phoenix Jones off right guard this time. And another first down for Phoenix, stopped by Mel Davis.
Phoenix Jones on Sunday Night Football. The spotlight's on you, and boy, as he shine.
A new career high, 100 rushing yards in this game for Phoenix Jones, officially over the century mark for the first time this season, and his first year as the Mexico City tailback, as we outlined. Clock ticking here in the third quarter. Mexico City on top by 13. Matt Wilson fires to the top of the screen. It's caught by Jones once again. He's been a busy man here down the stretch in the second and third quarters, tackled there by Champion.
Started a little slow in the first half, although he had that nice run at the end of the second quarter to allow Cole Varner to kick that field goal right before the half. But in quarter number 3, he has been the absolute best player so far tonight.
He asked the question, can Portland contain Mexico City through the air. Ninth best pass defense for Portland, but Mexico City second in the league in passing yards. The answer so far, some yes, some no. 4 interceptions, but 240 passing yards. Wilson will now bomb it again. It's caught by K.L. Barrett. Wide open past the defense, past Sean Allen, and tackled at the 11.
And that's the difference right there that we spoke about coming out of the half. You see how Mexico City takes those deep shots. They exploit the young secondary of the Portland Fleet. They're dinking and dunking. They're handing it off to Phoenix Jones, throwing it out of the backfield. And just when you least expect it, they take a deep shot and they hit Bartley on the fade.
That's a great point. That is the difference between these two offenses, is that Matt Wilson has the ability to go deep when he wants to. A big play that time for Barrett. We saw him link up with Montague in a similar play earlier. Now Wilson to throw to the top of the screen. Is caught. TJ Punk lowers the shoulder and crosses the goal line for a touchdown. First career SFL touchdown for TJ Punk.
TJ Punk finally finds pay dirt, and the rookie scores his first touchdown on Sunday night.
Same play that has worked all game long so far, Mike. They stretch Punk to the outside. He lines up off left tackle. The defensive end for Portland runs around and then tries to charge in. Wilson waits, finds Punk. He then accelerates and goes the remaining 11 yards for the score.
What an unbelievable drive. As I mentioned, they do it with such ease. When this Mexico City offense is clicking, there's no better team out there on the field.
Varner on for the PAT, and TJ Punk has rebounded in a huge way. Just one catch for 2 yards, both career lows last week in Mexico City's win. Now he's rebounded 4 catches for 31 unofficial yards and his first career SFL touchdown. Awesome moment for him. Mexico City now leads by 20.
Really, really tough situation for Portland here on the road. The Mexico City fans are going crazy here south of the border. Matt South really needs to wind it up. They got to come back. They need to respond.
I think Matt South might be named for this game, right? He was born for this game. Playing south of the border here in Mexico City for the first time this season. Obviously, his Vandalay can't even get back to the 20. This is his time to shine, Mike. We mentioned his best game of his Portland career last week, and the third-year man from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, is up against it here, but a big opportunity for him to shine. And this would be, no question about it, the biggest win in Portland franchise history. A win over Houston, which is off to a solid start this season, is good, and no slight to our pal Damon Simeon and his squad, but this would be the biggest win for Portland, no question, as South goes over the middle and links up with Nelson Lozano, his tight end, first catch of the game and a gain of 8.
Yeah, Nelson Lozano, he might be the secret weapon. They haven't used him at all tonight. Doesn't really get involved. He's only made, that's his 10th catch of the season. But Matt South really needs to dial it up. He needs to rear it back, and he needs to start firing away. They need to really open up this offense. They're down by 3 scores, 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter. They have to do it now.
Cruzman lowers the shoulder, turns the legs, and picks up the first down. An impressive power run for John Truzman. He wrenches down the non-roster Chesley Gallion for the first down.
Fabulous job by Truzman. They put him in a couple of situations where it was 3rd and short, and he's picked up the yardage to gain the first down. And you can see Truzman, he's fighting, he's getting stronger, but he's got to keep it going.
Here we'll go again to John Truzman, and he picks up 1 off the left side, tackled there by Andre Krim. The rookie was the first-round pick in this SFL draft, 11th overall, a rookie from Burlington, Ontario, and a gain of 1 this time for Truzman.
First time we've called Andre Krim, as you mentioned, out of Burlington, Ontario, Canada. The Krim Reaper makes a nice stop.
Didn't have a single tackle last week, and neither did Brock Lee, the second-year defensive end, and neither of those players have had a sack since week 4. And Krim gets on the board here this evening. South over the middle, has a man wide open out towards midfield. Nice link up for South, longest gain in a long time, and it's caught by Connor Weston again.
Yeah, you can see Connor Weston out of the 3 wide receivers. He's very speedy. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Wes Welker with that number 83 on his back. But he's got the potential, and those are the plays, those patterns where they run a little skinny post in the middle of the field, and they're picking up 15 and 20 yards on the play. That's what they need to do to get themselves back in this game.
Not surprising to see you make that comparison, and I imagine the Boston boy might approve of that comparison as well. Connor Weston with a big gain. John Truzman there with a nice run, and he picks up 6, tackled by Matthew Lee.
Best run of the night for John Truzman. That's what they're looking for. If your running back can average 4, 5, 6 yards a carry, keep feeding him.
Connor Weston, as we mentioned earlier, fresh off of a career high 13 catches for 144 yards and a touchdown. All of those are career highs. His second game over the century mark. He had just 103 total yards over the 2 games prior to last week. Big game for him again here. Well, they look for him. South's pass is caught by Connor Weston, but he's a yard short of the sticks. Another good tackle by Greg Gaines. He's the nickel corner for this team, Mike, but he's been busy today.
Yeah, Greg Gaines, a good buddy of mine. He played 2 seasons over in Chicago. Then as a free agent, came over to Mexico City, and he lays a nice hit on the wideout.
Mentioned Connor Weston off of a career game. Where's Art Vandelay? Also off of a career game last week. No targets through 3 quarters. We're done with 3 here in Estadio Azteca. Mexico City on top by 20. You're watching the Simulation Football League live on Twitch. Happy to have you with us here this evening. Alongside Mike and Proda, I'm Tim Hackett, Stephen Hacker, and Jack Brown running the stats. Cameron Irvine running the show. Big 3rd down and 1 for Matt South. First play of the 4th quarter, 11 minutes to go in the ball game. John Truzman has space off left tackle, and he picks up the 1st down. This has worked for him here in the second half. Tayumi is on the stop. KT Horrell and Gallion are in the area, but Truzman gets it done.
Better late than never for Truzman, as he's actually picked up some nice yardage on his last 3 carries, followed his blocker on the left end, and he picks up the 1st down, and they're actually down to the Mexico City 37.
Deepest that Portland has been in enemy territory in quite some time. 20-point deficit. Clock is running, though. Again, give it to John Truzman. Nice block out ahead for Truzman, and he picks up 8. Another good run. That officially the longest run of the day for Truzman, stopped by Jeffrey Dax.
They ran the same play. They go back to it. Great block by the fullback, Jacob Farmer, to spring Truzman. The big left end, he pulled, and Truzman picks up 8.
Right, Farmer was the lead man there. No surprise, you got the eyes for the fullback. Farmer only 3 carries all season, but a nice lead block there for John Truzman. Now 10 minutes to go of the game. South with penalty flags on the field to the near side. That's caught by Gene Valentine. This was the play that worked for him in the 3rd quarter. And that should be good enough for a 1st down, but we'll have to check the marker.
Is there a holding on the play, Tim?
Would be our first call of that nature so far today. And you are right, Mike and Proda. What do you know? Hey, point for you.
Scooter Smith, the rookie tackle, the undrafted free agent. He got caught. I saw it on the screen. He pulled down. It looked like Krim from the back end, ripped his jersey, and our 6'2 flagged him.
And if we can see it from up here, then you know that our 6'2 and the rest of the folks in stripes are going to be able to see it from down there. We don't see penalties very often from our position here in the SFL, but Scooter Smith, the Lone Star offensive lineman here for Portland, is whistled for that one. So 1st down and 15 now for Matt South. To the top of the screen, it's caught. Hey, there's Art Vandelay. First catch of the game, and he picks up 5.
That's what they need to do. Art Vandelay, the architect out of Miami, Florida. Last week, he had his breakout game against Houston. 12 catches for 138 yards and 1 touchdown. They need more of that from him.
Previous high was 3 catches for 44 yards in week 4 against Carolina. He doubled his season totals in catches and yards last week alone. That's his first catch of the day. South on 3rd and 7, over the middle. That's caught. What a catch. There were 3 receivers there, and South somehow picks out Gene Valentine for the 1st down.
Gene Valentine, full extension, going across the middle of the field, fingertip catch, and he keeps this drive alive.
This round, I mean, he's got 3 wide receivers there. That's Weston, 83 at the top, Bouvette, 85 at the bottom, and then Valentine in the middle. I mean, frankly, any of those 3 could have made the catch, but somehow Valentine was the one to call everybody else off, reach out his glove, and haul it in.
This is where the Fleet find success. They've gotten their wide receivers involved. They've taken shots deeper than 10 yards, and John Truzman's had a few nice carries. Good job by the Fleet to move the ball.
They're trying to move it again. Ooh, and that's dropped by Bouvette. The backup, Gavin Bouvette, sails through his hands. Pressure applied by Stover, and you think maybe, Mike, if that was a roster player, he would have hauled that in. 2nd down.
It's totally possible, but you got to get everybody involved. I think Gavin Bouvette was caught a little off guard. The pass was a little behind him. He tried to spin around, but certainly catchable. Tough drop.
2nd and 10 now from outside the red zone. Portland trailing by 20, but a score here would change the tenor of this game. South with time to the near side. Caught again by Valentine. He's pushed out of bounds for a gain of 8 by Jack Napier.
They go back to the same play, but this time they hit Valentine. He hangs on. It's 3rd and 2. Big time play for Portland. They need to pick up the 1st down.
Season for Jack Napier, who of course was part of the SFL Championship Atlanta Swarm defense a season ago. 2 years there for Atlanta. First year now in Mexico City, the third-year man. Pickup of 8 that time for Valentine, the rookie from Haiti. 3rd and 2 now from the 14. South under center, offset I. Only one receiver at the top of the screen. They will give to John Truzman, and he is stopped up at the line of scrimmage. Truzman's struggles continue. Nice tackle on the line by Chesley Gallion, the number 2 outside linebacker. The non-roster player makes the play.
Chesley Gallion comes up with a big play, and that's really where the Portland Fleet have struggled. They've just not been able to pick up that short yardage to go, and they have to settle for a field goal down by 20.
This wouldn't really move the chains or move the momentum meter, if you want to call it that, too much in this game as David John knocks it through from 30. It's still a 17-point game, Mike, still a 3-score game. John is still able to pull them that much closer, I suppose.
They put points on the board, which I guess is a positive as this drive stalls out. But for me, Tim, do not like the decision. As you mentioned, you're here 7.5 minutes. You're down by 3 scores, 20 points to be exact. I would have gone for it.
Now they will have to kick it away. No sense in going for an onside this early with 7.5 to go, though. The onside kick has worked more than it hasn't so far here in the SFL in Week 7, surprisingly enough. And a good return for Jeffrey Daggs as he cracks back outside and gets out across the 35. Best return for either team so far today, and a nice return for the 60-year man from Rochester.
Wow, what a return by Jeffrey Daggs. Where did that come from? Brings it all the way out to the 36. He's keeping up the intensity. And his father told me, Mike and Proda, intensity is not a perfume.
All right, I guess we need to dial it back then. We're going to be overpowering everybody if we wear too much. 1st and 10 for Matt Wilson, still with a 17-point lead. Phoenix Jones somehow surges through and picks up 5. Nice work for Phoenix. If you're new to the Simulation Football League, you're watching the first controllerless esport where strategy and AI instead of thumbs determines outcome. Teams submit game plans prior to the simulation, and results play out live in real time with hundreds of viewers turned players, scouts, coaches, and team owners on the field to create an all-new kind of virtual reality. Visit www.simulationfl.net for more information. Mexico City on top by 17, the former SFL League champs. Jones has nowhere to go that time, stopped again by Mel Davis.
Mel Davis in his 2nd season out of Columbia, Maryland. That was an angry hit for a loss of 1.
Didn't even mention this, but Mel Davis is 3rd in the SFL in tackles coming into today at about 11 1/3 per game, 68 total. Both of those are good for 3rd. He's got 8 here tonight. Wilson to the top of the screen. That's caught by the count, Richard Montague. First down for the Aztecs.
Yeah, Mexico City, they feel it here. They smell victory. Under 6.5 minutes left to go, and they look to Richard Montague to pick up another Mexico City first down.
Wilson now unofficially over 300 yards for the 4th time this season in his 7 games played. His high was 489 in Week 2 against St. Louis. Ironically, though, that was one of the games that Mexico City lost, Mike, and that was a key to the game for you.
Yeah, that was a big-time comeback win for St. Louis when they scored those big-time points in the 4th quarter to down Mexico City. A surprise to everybody. Mexico City right now could be 5-1 if it wasn't for that unfortunate outcome.
Another link up from Wilson to Jason Bartley, 18 not 19. He gets right to the first down line, hit there by Shawn Allen, and Bartley gets it done.
Bartley's been very effective tonight, unofficially. 5 catches on 6 targets for 80 yards. Very nice night for this rookie.
It's a career high now as he's officially got 6 catches, a new career high after he set that career high with 5 last week. First down to the top of the screen, caught again by Montague, breaks out of the first hit, but he steps out of bounds after a gain of 7, rushed out there by Amon Takes.
Matt Wilson, he's finding his groove, and here in the 4th quarter with this big lead, he's just picking the Portland defense apart.
Wilson, when he has to throw it a lot, we mentioned that he is very good, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, no one would dispute. But to this point of the season, as you pointed out to me, Mike, when Wilson throws the ball a lot, that is not a recipe for success for Mexico City. Surprisingly enough, he's thrown about as average here this evening. 2nd and 3 over the middle. Wilson will throw again, and it's caught again by Richard Montague out to the 25 and a first down.
Richard Montague, he's also having a nice night. All of the Mexico wide receivers, even TJ Punk's got into the end zone tonight. Montague's got a TD. Dags, what do you know? He's got another touchdown. TJ Punk scored a touchdown, and Matt Wilson has been interception free here in the third and fourth quarter, and that's the key. That's why they're up big. But this is the guy right here that's really set the fire going for this Aztec offense. Phoenix Primetime Jones.
Setting the fire is a nice way of putting it for the guy named Phoenix. He cracks outside for a gain of 9, one of his best runs. Stopped up by Tim Fannin. You see him there, number 57 in the white. The backup inside linebacker. I mentioned this at the beginning, Mike. Portland, a unique team in that they sometimes run 4 linebackers. It's interesting because in this league, often you see teams that run only 2. Mexico City, for example, only has 2 roster linebackers. Portland sometimes runs 4, and when they do, Tim Fannin is the guy that gets in the mix. But a gain of 9 on first down for Phoenix Jones. 2nd and 1 now for the 16. Mexico City trying to salt this game away. 4:10 to go in regulation time. Wilson takes his time. They'll snap it with 4. Phoenix Jones up the middle. First down and more. Stopped by Johansson. First down now from the 13.
Wow, this Mexico City runner, Phoenix Jones, has looked pretty good.
New career high for Phoenix Jones, now over 115 rushing yards.
Excellent job by Phoenix Jones. He keeps moving the chains. They're down to the Portland 13, and this could be the nail in the coffin.
Good, sure could be. Points of any kind might seal the deal. Still a 3-score lead for Mexico City. A 17-point edge here at home. 3.5 to go in the fourth quarter. Wilson will again take his time from the 2-back set. They give to Phoenix Jones. He will run right guard this time, and he picks up 4. He runs into Sean Allen, who averages 8 tackles per game. Get your player position locked and loaded today through our Discord server and the SFL Minor League SFLM. Now with 12 teams, there's more opportunities than ever to be the player you've always wanted to be. Join the Discord community through www.simulationfl.net. The second season of the SFL Minor League starts in October of 2020. Contact Deputy Commissioner Andrew Ristelli on Discord for more information. Maybe you can make an impact next year like you've seen all of these Portland players do. So many rookies on offense and defense. Minor league stalwarts are now major league veterans. 2nd and 6 from the 9. The handoff to Phoenix Jones. Breaks 1 tackle, lowers the shoulder, and gets to the 2-yard line. A gain of 7. Stopped there by Chris Stock. Phoenix Jones' career day continues.
Can't say it enough. Great day. I mean, I can't think of enough positive adjectives to explain what a fantastic job that Phoenix Jones has had tonight. Absolutely terrific. And it looks like for all of his hard work, he's touched the ball 27 times. They're trying to get Phoenix Jones into the end zone.
Mentioned the offensive line play earlier today, Mike, as a key to success. I mean, get this, 0 sacks for Portland now today. Matt Wilson has thrown the ball 42 times. When Mexico City allows 0 sacks in a game, they are 3-0. 1st and goal from the 2. No need for Wilson to throw it here. 2:10 to go. They will have to snap it before the 2-minute warning. 2:05 to go. 1st and goal from the 2. Wilson, the handoff to Phoenix Jones. He is stopped up at the goal line. Great work initially by this Portland defense. Mel Davis is there to keep Phoenix out of the end zone. It's 2nd and goal. 2 minutes to go in regulation time. Mexico City on top, 30-13. This is the Simulation Football League live on Twitch. Let's go back to SFL headquarters. Cameron Irvine with a game break.
Well, at the expense of hoping to not ruin a touchdown call here, 5.5 to go in the fourth quarter. Fort Worth still leads St. Louis 7-0. Join that game when you're done here, guys.
A crazy defensive battle over there in St. Louis. 2nd and goal. The handoff. Laura Horrell, right guard, touchdown. Her 3rd touchdown of the season, and Mexico City puts the nail in the coffin.
Wow, Laura Horrell up the middle, and she gets into the end zone. Great drive, Mexico City.
Mentioned, Mike, we might see her a lot in this game. We haven't seen her too much, just her 5th carry, but she punches it in. This is what she can do. 3rd touchdown, one of the league leaders among fullbacks. She knocks it in, and Mexico City officially is running away with it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the end of tonight's game for Portland. They played a really, really nice first half. If you had told me they were going to pick off Matt Wilson 4 or 5 times, I'd say Portland's probably going to win the game. But to see the score so lopsided, 37-13, man, oh man, it's all been all Phoenix Jones here in the second half. Laura Horrell puts the nail in the coffin, and Mexico City is going to be moving up the table at 5-2.
Varner hits the PAT. He's been perfect today. We mentioned, Mike, I mean, Mexico City has not been in any lopsided games at all. 6 games. Every game has been decided by 2 scores or fewer. This is looking to be their biggest win of the season. In Portland, meanwhile, some good, some bad, as you mentioned. 2 lopsided losses, one by 30, one by 40. 2 close losses by a total of 4 points across those 2 games. Then that 13-0 loss to Las Vegas. And then last week, they come back from behind and beat Houston by just a couple. So room for improvement for Portland, no question. But as we've said before, it's a young team. None of them have played together before, unless you count the minor leagues with guys like Vandelay and Valentine, but they've never played together in the major leagues, and they've got a long time to try to work out some of those kinks. Nice link up of from south to Weston and a pickup of 11.
They're a young team. They've got to build it brick by brick. They understand that. They just got to stick together. They got to keep grinding. They'll find success.
South's pass tipped away and complete, going for number 84, Nelson Lozano, his second target of the game, and it's tipped away.
Mexico City has looked absolutely fantastic in this first half. It's been the story of 2 halves. Matt Wilson stayed clean, and the biggest thing is Portland has not sacked or put Matt Wilson on the ground today. Fantastic job by Dag, Stu McKenzie, and the guys up front to come out here, make the adjustments coming into the third quarter. They scored on their first possession, and they never looked back.
Make a good point. They have not scored here in the second half. South, risky pass, tipped away, going to the near side for Valentine, and then that's knocked away by Dowan Tuiasosopo. Third down.
Did you see the hit rookie Andre Krim put on South? I didn't think he was going to let that ball go. I thought he was going to go down for the sack. South was lucky also that didn't get picked off and taken back to the house.
I was hoping that for some reason we would see that man at some point in this game. Dowan Tuiasosopo. Somebody in this league must be like a hardcore Seattle Mariners fan or something like that, if you've ever heard of that last name. But either way, 3rd down and 10 now from the 31, 90 seconds to go. South's pass, risky again, looking for Weston down the left sideline. That's knocked away incomplete. Dennis Greer, the backup corner on the coverage, 4th down.
It's funny that you bring up Tuiasosopo. There was a guy by the name of Mosi Tuiasosopo that used to play back in the day in the early 1980s for the New England Patriots. Look that up, Tim Hackett.
Well, and I know Matt Tuiasosopo, who is a baseball player, and he was away for a couple of years. He used to play for the Mariners, if memory serves. So you got to be an obscure sports fan to recognize that name. South with a pass over the middle. What a dart. That's caught. Nice link up to Valentine out to midfield.
I'm just happy Tuiasosopo hasn't touched the ball much in today's game, because I don't know how many times I'd be able to say that name correctly.
Gotten it a couple of times. That is pretty impressive. It is not really an easy name. And this one is an easy name. Gene Valentine, another nice link up. And he's been kind of that, middle of the pack wide receiver. Like we said, Vandelay went off last week. Weston has been, no question, the best pass catcher, probably the best offensive player for Portland so far this year. And Gene Valentine, just that steady influence in the middle.
Valentine's been fantastic this year. The wide receivers are really the key right now to this Portland offense. Valentine hasn't caught anything less than 4 receptions in each game this season, and he's caught 7 tonight.
Quick link up there from South to John Trusman. Still waiting to see if he can take flight. South over the middle. Again, that's caught by Gene Valentine. Another nice bullet. Or check that, I think it's Weston, 83, not 82. I got this whole game, Mike, without making that mistake. It's 81, 82, and 83, the Portland wide receivers. South now from the 31 over the middle, looking for 84, the tight end, and Nelson Lozano can't hang on.
Yeah, Mexico City, they know there's a minute left to go. They're up big time by 20 points. They're in a prevent defense, so it looks like Portland's been able to just, throw underneath. But really, that's the story, Tim. We've talked about it so much. We really emphasized it. Portland's just got to stretch it out a little bit more. I think after they picked off Matt Wilson so many times, they were just very conservative when they had the ball. Didn't really take any deep shots to go over the top tonight. I'd like to see them maybe take a little bit more opportunity to try and air it out. I know that they don't want to get picked off and turn the ball over, but right now that's the only key to their offense that they're going to need to try and fit into the lock right now, because running the ball, they've struggled. They're going to get better with progression. but they got to try and find a way to look at their passing routes and move the ball through the air.
At South will try to do so down the left seam, and it's tipped away incomplete once again. Dawan Tuiasosopo was in the area going for Bouvet. 4th down.
Yeah, you're down by 20 points. Time's ticking off the clock. The only thing that Portland can do is try to air it out. Mexico City knows that. Greer is there and knocks that one down.
It's interesting that Jeffrey Daggs was also on the field. You can see him there, 44 in the red. He's unmistakable. He's still in despite this scoreline. That's interesting. Pretty much everybody else is a backup. So Portland will keep the starters out there, trying to get some more points on the board. 4th and 10 from the 31. South has a man over the middle. That's caught by Art Vandelay, his biggest catch, all the way out to the 14. 1st down.
There's our Vandelay. He steps up, the architect from Miami. I'd love to see Portland end this game and get into the end zone.
Haven't done so on offense all game, and Mexico City has shut them out so far here in the second half. From the 14, South to the top of the screen, that's caught by Weston. That play has worked just about every time. You look at it, 12 catches now for Connor Weston, one off a career high.
Very nice night for Connor Weston, 12 receptions, 83 yards, and that's the play. You know, when you look at these games and you start to evaluate what's worked, what hasn't worked, those plays to the out route of the wide receivers, both to the top and the bottom of the screen, that's been their best play all night long.
12 catches for Weston, 6 for Valentine. It's been a slow day at the office, as we mentioned, for Art Vandelay. 2nd down and 3 from the 7-yard line. Portland trying to get back into the end zone. Hand off to John Truzman. Can this be the moment for Truzman? Lowers the shoulder, and he's in. Touchdown. John Truzman is into the end zone for the first time this season.
Are you kidding me? John Truzman just gets the nose of the ball over the goal line for his first career SFL touchdown.
I can't believe that, Mike. I wasn't sure if we would see a challenge coming from Ramos Lynn. I think he's just going to, let Portland have it at this point. But first touchdown of the year for Truzman of any kind. It has been a long time coming for one of the better guys in the SFL. But Portland able to march down the field and put some points on the board and hopefully get some positive thoughts going into next week as John hits the PAT.
Yeah, nice job by Portland to come down and end their final drive of the game on a Truzman touchdown. And that's the team's first rushing touchdown all season long.
You're right, Mike Daggs, in the Simulationfl chat. There are no challenges inside of 2 minutes. That is something that I should know, but I figured maybe the booth would review it since it was a scoring play and everything, but none forthcoming. It doesn't really matter, and Portland is able to get into the end zone for the first time since the 4th quarter. David John switches things up, tries the onside kick, but Mexico City is able to hold on to that one somehow. We mentioned that the onside kicks have worked about as often as they have not in the SFL here in Week 7, which is surprising, but doesn't work that time for Portland, and any slim chances that they have of a comeback have gone out the window. 2 more SFL games on tap for you tomorrow, our Monday Night Football doubleheader. Vancouver at Louisiana. We'll start you off at 7-6 Central with the power duo of Mike Daggs and Matt Wilson. Maybe that's the game of the week as Wilson takes a knee and Portland takes a timeout. And then at 9-8 Central, Houston at Baltimore. The crowd play game of the week coming up with Cameron Irvine and Ramos Lynn, 2 of the best broadcasting teams in the league. Back out at work tomorrow night on Monday Night Football. Pair of games starting at 7-6 Central, live on 11 Sports and for the fans. Mexico City, Mike, are going to stay towards the top of the league table. They're going to move to 5-2. A big-time win for them as they try to stay on pace for a first-round bye, perhaps.
Yeah, Mexico City, they didn't come out, complacent. They knew how important this win was to keep pace with the top half of the league. They moved to 5-2. They come away with a nice 17-point victory, and they really needed it because next week the Baltimore Vultures, the very difficult Baltimore Vultures, come into town, and that will certainly be a very tough battle here in front of the home crowd. Portland falls to 1-6. Congratulations to London. They won their first game of the season, and they're tied with them at the bottom. But a lot of positive things for Portland. Their defense played very, very well. If their offense can somehow put it together and they can find a way to move the ball a little bit better, a little bit further downfield, as we've talked about so much, this team has a never quit type of attitude. They're going to be good, and it's not going to take them long.
That's the ball game here from Estadio Azteca. A career day for Jason Bartley and for Phoenix Jones. 9th touchdown of the season for Mike Daggs, and Mexico City wins comfortably. The final score, the Aztecs win it 37-20.
Yeah, after a very difficult start, you see that Mexico City, they picked up the pace. Hantayumi had 2 big-time interceptions. They kept John Truzman in check. The second half was really the story of the night for Matt Wilson. He ended up actually with a very nice stat line, 331 yards for 3 TDs. Yeah, he threw the 4 interceptions, but he'll probably end up being the player of the game just because he was able to just give Mexico City that big lead, throwing it through the air. You see Barrett and Bartley, they chipped in. Montague was very effective. And what do you know, as we've mentioned all game long, Mike Daggs gets into the end zone once again.
He's still atop the league leaderboard in receiving yards for all players and receiving touchdowns. 8 catches for 80 total yards for the veteran from Rochester. Here's the game-sealing touchdown from Laura Horrell. We figure the fullback might get some work against this Portland team that gives up more rushing yards than anybody else. And against that Portland front, Mike, finally Phoenix Jones has his big game, a career-high 130 rushing yards. And not in the end zone as John Truzman is able to get in the end zone for the first time, as you see here, but a big game for the second-year tailback.
Remarkable job by Phoenix Primetime Jones. He would be my player of the game, but I think they'll probably give it to Matt Wilson. But if Phoenix Jones gets it, that would be unbelievable and very well deserved. They end up giving it to Matt Wilson, as we mentioned. But to me tonight, Phoenix Jones, absolutely my player of the game. Nice job, Phoenix.
Wilson rebounds from throwing 4 first-half interceptions and finishes with another solid game over the 300 mark for the 4th time this season. Mexico City, with its most lopsided win of the season, they win by 17. Mike and Proto, your final thoughts.
To all the fans watching from coast to coast and around the world, thank you for allowing the SFL into your living rooms. Now allow the SFL into your dreams.
Thank you, Proto. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me along. We'll see you next time. For our statisticians, Jack Brown and Stephen Hacker, for our producer, Cameron Irvine, and our producer, Cameron Irvine, and my partner, Mike Proto, I've been Tim Hackett. We'll see you next time. Until then, so long.